610 CKTB proudly supporting Help Kids Shine, a month-long campaign to raise awareness and funds for the Niagara Children's Center. And now, another story of how the Niagara Children's Center helps kids shine.
20 minutes after 12 o'clock, the chair of the board of directors for the Niagara Children's Center and also the CEO at Penn Financial Credit Union. Hello, Ken Janzen. How are you?
I am well, Tom. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, no problem. Thank you so much for all the work you do at the Niagara Children's Center, because you've been involved there, Ken, if I have my numbers correct, 25 years. What first attracted you to the Niagara Children's Center as a place you wanted to lend your time and expertise?
Actually, I've been involved in Rotary for a number of years, and with the Maycourt Club, Rotary clubs were very instrumental in supporting, and still are, supporting the center. At the time, I was working in Grimsby and was a member of the Grimsby Rotary, and at the time, each Rotary club would appoint, I guess for geographic representation, a member to the board, and I was asked to sit on the board. And so candidly, I said yes. It sounded like a good opportunity or to support the community. And then the journey of life occurs, and we ended up having a child that ended up using the services of the center. And I became very aware of, especially in, I believe, our fundraising of 96, I'm going back. My employer at the time, I solicited donations with email at the time, and it was really taken back with the veracity of the support, because everyone said, you know, I've got a child, or I know someone, or I'm a grandparent to someone. And I realized the influence the center had, and I'm a strong believer in advocacy for children. Everyone needs an advocate. So I thought being on the board was the best way to advocate for children in Niagara, for a center that's doing so much good work. So kind of long-winded, but that's kind of the journey that's kept me involved over the years.
It's interesting as well because it is the Niagara Children's Center, and as someone who was in Grimsby, you realize the value of it, and that's what they provide. That it's not just if you're nearby St. Catharines or Thorold, or you can make the trip from Niagara-on-the-Lake. Yes. That is someone who is in Grimsby. You realize that, well, this is the center that serves you, and this is part of their mandate, and have done a terrific job being region-wide.
Yes, located in St. Catharines, but we serve the region, and that's probably one of the most important messages, that if your child is in the region of Niagara and needs the support of the center, with communicative or physical challenge, we are the place that will provide that support. We also have satellites. Let's say in Grimsby, I happened to be able to visit Grimsby Rotary a few weeks back, and we were asked directly that question, and I believe almost 250 children are served through the satellite location in Grimsby. Yes, we serve all children across the region. Our board is reflective of that. We have board members from Niagara Falls, from Lincoln, from Waynflete, St. Catharines, and Welland. So that's a very strong message to get out. It is not simply St. Catharines. It's the region of Niagara.
Because you've served on the board for such a long time, and now in your position as chair, for those who may not understand maybe your perspective, what's the biggest challenge from your position that the Niagara Children's Center is facing right now?
Well, I guess the changing landscape and of what the center can provide, will provide. We're seeing, the potential consolidation in healthcare services. We're being asked to and participate in a greater degree of leadership in providing and coordinating services for children. And I don't want to get, obviously the funding gaps are intense. I'll say our center has actually been fundraising for therapy services since the expansion of 96. So, our foundation and our in-house development office now has been fundraising, which wasn't always popular. It was, we'll fund equipment, but we don't want to fund services. So that gap is intensifying. We're identifying children. Therapies have changed, so the opportunity to help more children is there, but the funding challenges continue to increase, and I'd say that's the biggest challenge right now. And trying to manipulate an ever-changing and quickly changing landscape.
What would you say is the biggest change you've seen as your time being involved? And maybe I'll take away the low-hanging fruit on this one, Ken. When I look at how the advancements in, for instance, communications, where now we have such amazing computing power for those children who are perhaps nonverbal, the ability to communicate has just increased so much along with technology. What to you has also been a huge change over the last couple of decades?
Well, and in that area, the technology of children, as you said, not to repeat, children in the being. One of the most emotional is when you hear the stories, and I know you've talked to the ambassadors in the family, of children being able to articulate clearly through computer devices their thoughts and communication. So that's advanced. We've also used digital technology. Obviously, the advancement of where we have quantitative markers within, and we don't get involved in the operations, but you can now benchmark so many more things and advancements, so we can actually support the work we're doing and saying, this is a good way to go because we have so much more information. I'll say the digital support we provide parents for support groups, trying to for children or parents that have children with needs. Scheduling is often very difficult. Now we're into digital support groups and social services. So those have been some of the advances that have really changed how we deliver services. And we're trying to say, how do we meet parents and how do we provide services in the forum that's overtaking all of us, which is the digital world.
I always remark that the name itself is somewhat innocuous. Niagara Children's Center. I don't know. It could be a gymnasium there. Could be a trampoline center. It's Niagara Children's Center. And then the building itself, kind of nondescript, turns sideways. It's a low brick building. It doesn't stand out. It's not flashy. But when you go in there, it is amazing what happens there on a daily basis. What are you most proud of when it comes to your involvement at the Niagara Children's Center?
I think the number of children we serve, and it sounds, again, that you've heard the stories over the first 2 weeks of the campaign, and I know you've been involved personally for a long time. When people talk and parents talk about what I don't know where I would have been without the center, and they use the word family, we're very focused on family-centered care. It's about the families and the children, and that's the filter we need. And that never, I'm not being dramatic, but those stories are candidly what I'm most proud of. In some small ways have I been able to support and help families on that journey, which is life-changing. I'm very proud of that, and I'm very proud of the center because parents, they're not soliciting. They're telling us those comments consistently. They don't know where they would be without the center.
Ken Janzen is the CEO of Penn Financial Credit Union, but more importantly, chair of the board of directors for the Niagara Children's Center. Ken, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time today and for your involvement with the Niagara Children's Center. Well,
and I want to thank you and also the Bell Media and the 3 radio stations. You guys have been there since date myself, the days at the Penn Center answering phones, and your work has been tireless. So I want to thank you so much.
Ken, have a great afternoon. Thanks again.
Okay, take care. Bye.
29 minutes after 12 o'clock. Hey, do you want to help out? You can go online, 610cktv.com. Of course, that's our website. Click under events, Help Kids Shine. You can become a Help Kids Shine Club monthly giving club member by calling 905-688-3550. Or, as I said, go to the center. Drop in. They'll gladly show you around, and you can see the miracles that go on inside and donate on site. Their address is 567 Glenridge Ave in St. Catharines, right across from Brock University. 12:30 is our time. Noon 30 coming up next. One panelist in studio. One's doing the news. But that's standing by on 610 CKTB.